Just get a little confirmation. There we go. All right. What a headache. Sorry, computer. I'm so sorry. I tried to just add a pair of earbuds so I could hear my own system sound. Never think to do that again. That was just the worst offense I could have made against king and country. Oh, my. There. Good. At least that one works. Let's check the monitoring one. Time to do what I actually set out to do about a half hour ago. Oh, I'm not streaming on Facebook right now. And I might just stop, because that was, I don't know what insufficient social scope error is, but I'm tired of looking at it, and I shouldn't be seeing it. And I might just swap back to good old OBS if I'm not going to stream to Facebook anymore. So I think only Linda really watches me over there on that from time to time. Echo, play my playlist stream. Good. All right. Echo, Volume 6. Sure we don't knock anything over. Echo, Volume 7. I've got that big pumpkin I can use as a extra clay absorber. Need to find a faster way to do this. Or a sharper blade to just quickly cut right through and take all the sheets off in one big hank. Ooh. Fibercraft. Now I should probably shoot myself a couple of test messages because I have to do that every single time. Ooh. Wait. Okay, and nothing has appeared on this one. Oh dear, yep. Enough. Why? Come on. Sorry, everybody. Give me a sec to do all this crap again and refresh the nonsense. Just one. All right, now I see messages. There. Good Lord. I can't believe how angsty this thing is being tonight. I mean, it's just... Dear Lord. Dear frickin' Lord. Let's make sure Twitch is functional now, too. Good. Oh, finally, I can craft. Hello, kitty cat. Meow. Aw, thank you for coming over. You knew Dad was about to break something, didn't you? There's a reason there's no baseball bat around here. And honestly, it's less my computer and more that I'd be taking a little drive out to XSplit company land and go into town. But I had a lot less trouble with OBS, and I'm really thinking that considering the sheer amount of debacles I have with this, I may try to find a new streaming system. I'm very tired of this. When I want to stream, I want to just come in and do it. Well, I mean, normally it never really was. The only reason I went to XSplit as a streaming software was because they had access to broadcast to Facebook. And I wanted to be able to do that. But, now it's like I don't even think that is worth it. I'm thinking that I probably should queue up some sort of auto messaging thing that just puts a message on Facebook saying, hey, I'm streaming on YouTube/Twitch. Come see me there because XSplit is a big pile of doo-doo. Yeah. I'm glad it's back to normal. I mean, my computer is more than capable of handling this. I'm not even running a game in the background like some folks do on their streaming systems. And this computer is a couple years old, but I've gamed and streamed on it before. Yeah. We'll just can the Facebook, I think. As I mentioned, I think I only have a few folks who watch me on there anyway, and it's easy enough to watch YouTube or Twitch. Because sadly, dear old Facebook is, I'm not going to say it's a dinosaur, but it's not really what the cool kids are all using anymore. Right, Majesty? Good kitty. You little sweetheart. I'll have to find where I stuffed that barrel of joint compound. Oh, fantastic. More pumpkins, the better. I'm looking forward to getting through this sequence of 3 for the recording. Today I'm going to do the stem recording for it. And today I'm going to do the stem recording for it. And then it'll be the paint. That's honestly just about it. Oh. And now I can't open my glue. The night is full of frustrations. Let's go a little heavier glue tonight and see what that does. Oh. This one's got a patch on it. Fortunately, a patch is no problem. For some inane reason, I put my giant barrel of joint compound behind me. I gotta work on that too. There's a lot of fun projects to tinker with. Yeah, it's definitely a gremlin-y night. Big time. So I'm guessing your next one's going to be another panorama. What are you thinking of for it? I mean, you need a stronger clamp for that. Ooh. This joint compound is getting better the lower I go. I love it. There's a big oval splorch, plus a smaller splorch. Cool. Yeah, I tell myself a lot of stuff when it comes to crafting too. I seldom stick to it. I'll never do that again. Here I am doing that again. Feels like that didn't go all the way in. Now it is. But your stuff looks so good. Be a shame not to rock and roll it. Yeah, I was very impressed with that last one. Nobody else, to my knowledge, has done the dioramas inside the pumpkin. You are completely unique in the coolness you produce. Whew. Oh, let's see how this stuff feels. It's not bad, but it's not really sticking to me enough. It's really close though, mind you. The whole, okay, the front part of the Myers house, Jesus. Give me a quick second here. That's a 2-story, if I remember right. I think you're going to want at least a 12-inch. And, I mean, oof. Quite frankly, this guy's a 12-inch. But he's not 12. So actually, he's only about 8-9 inches across. Of course, the way they tend to measure the beach balls is pole to pole. So, pole to pole, he's about 16-inch. Diameter-wise, 8.5, 9. Hey, Sam. What's up, Fuzzy Bear? Oh, boy. Yeah. So, 16-inch longitudinal, minimum 8.5 wide, /9. Top on, top off. That comes with a lot more complications, especially in terms of how thick you make the walls and where you make the walls thick. I have never made one with a removable top myself. And the other problem, too, is that unlike a normal pumpkin, where you're using a knife to cut it, the knife doesn't really, well, I guess some people use the saws too, but it'll be a lot more noticeable, I think, on the pumpkin types that we do, that if you're using a saw, you're going to be removing a kerf, and that's the amount of material that's excised from the sawing itself that gets turned into sawdust and never comes back. That might be a little bit more noticeable on a paper mache pumpkin than a vegetable pumpkin. So that's a potential problem. You can always just add more clay into the kerf to eliminate it, but it's just something to think about. And of course, if you've got the diorama set, I mean, if I was going to have a removable top, I would have like the whole top removed. Then I'd have it up a bit and I'd have it like on something, either a set of risers, or you make that so it looks like the house popped the top of the pumpkin off. So the house was growing up from inside the pumpkin and ruptured the top. So maybe something like that. And that way you've got either, if it's a fully removable top, you can rest it on that section of the house where it's supposed to be rested. I don't know. Top off pumpkins just come with their own host of complications, suffice to say. But I don't think it would be too hard. It's just that you're going to have a diorama cut in front and then the top too. So, yeah. Or just rather than like top on, top off, just start your cut for your diorama at like the halfway point. And then, cut real low. So that's another potential option. So either the house is ripping up so hard that it pushed the pumpkin top well off and clear, or just carve a really big front out of the whole thing and don't even worry about it. Okay, we got plenty of clay. And this guy is going to need some serious serious resting adjustment. And he might need supplemental clay. All right, well, let's move this. Move this to somewhere where it can tip over horribly later on, causing a massive spill and accident. Make sure I have my aluminum foil handy. And honestly, he doesn't really look that bad at all. I could just paint him and he'd look fine. He's going to get the extra treatment though, but... All right. GoPro. Yeah. Yep. I mean, yeah, you could do a horseshoe out the top. I mean, just ask yourselves how many people are going to be looking down from the top and how effective is it going to be? So, yeah. He's getting there. Honestly, the clay dried a lot more rumbly bumply on the front than I would have liked. Especially around the teeth. I don't think I'm going to admit that on camera, but it's one of the things. We can't find this GoPro. Really? Really, you can't? You're not plugged in right there? How about if I turn you on myself? How about that? You okay then? It must be one of those nights. Technology clearly just hates me this evening. Because it's on. For breath, what are you doing? You hopping up to take a look in the window? Oh, good boy. Yes, you also knew that Dad was about to break something, and so you came over to make me not go crazy. Hi. Oh, boy. Maybe I shouldn't be filming on a night when technology hates me. This might be terribly unwise. Oh, God, yeah. I can only imagine, even also with your stuff, you do so much extra with all the internal diorama, laying that up, painting that out. It's just, it's got to be bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Oh, I see him. Oh, this cat is keeping me sane right now. Hi, buddy. You're such a good boy. I'm glad you came up. Thank you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you, Butch. Aww. Good boy, Sam. Stay out of the polyfluff. The last thing I need is polyfluff scattered all over the place. Connection lost. Tap to power on. Oh, don't tell me we're losing power. Enable preview. Fortunately, I got like 6 hours left on it. There's a really big memory stick on that camera. What's up? Good boy. Such a good boy. Yes. What a good fuzzy bear. All right, we're going to need the pumpkin saw, which is over here. Yeah, I can only imagine how much difficulty the lighting's got to be. would drive me exceptionally batty. There we go, pumpkin saw. With BT. 2 scoops spare blade. 2 scoops of pumpkin in every Drakenfang creation.
Oh, good little bear. Oh, such a good little bear. Hi. Oh, you're so cute. You're gonna flop down on the ground, aren't we?
No, you're gonna stalk away. You're gonna flop down over there. I just can't predict you tonight. Not a bad thing. Okay. Let's grab a battery for the clock. Let's move. The clay can go right here for now. Center. Him. I guess we'll start recording. Boop. All right, our pumpkin face is all dry and in good shape, hard as a rock, but we do have one slight issue that is common to many starter pumpkins. He's going to stare at the ground. I don't want my pumpkin staring at the ground. I want my pumpkin looking up. So I need to do some modifications to this circle on the bottom. And in doing that, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to cut away a section of the back here because he's looking down. So I need to cut away the back to have that gone, to have him start to rock backwards. If your pumpkin is looking up too far, then you're going to have to cut away sections of the front. Alternatively, if you do not have anything that you can use to cut with, you can take more clay and add it to the spot where you're having trouble. So in this case, if I wanted to solve this with clay only, he's staring down at the ground, I would add clay to this front section slowly and surely, little bit by little bit, maybe an inch or so at a time, and that would lift him back up. But I'm going to work on the more painful solution today of doing some cutting. To do the cutting, what you want first is you want to know where he's going to sit, where you like him. I kind of like him a little bit more like this, where he's looking up just a tad. I've got him resting on a little bowl, and any kind of small bowl like this will do a good job at giving you a line to cut around. So if he's up here, then he must be resting on the bowl at a fairly good section. So I can take a Sharpie or some other marking device, and I can kind of trace around the rim of the bowl. And this is going to give me an idea of about where I need to cut away to get me that angle. This is, of course, giving me a huge radius, which I don't necessarily like. So I'm going to start by trying to cut a little bit away here, and then I'll see where he's sitting. Now, if I still don't like it, then I'll keep cutting away a little bit more. Things that you can use to cut away with. You can use, ideally, in the world of having all the tools you want, a Dremel with a saber cut bit. This one right here is not a saber cut bit. I will put an image of one on the screen. Ta-da! This is a wood grinding bit. Still useful on this stuff, but you can use a Dremel with a saber cut bit to zip around here, also known as zip cut bits, by the way. I'm going to assume, though, that you may not have that. And I'm going to do this the less power tooly way until my sanity devolves completely. I have here just a little pumpkin cutting saw. It's metal, it's fairly decent. A saw is best for this. If you try to do it with a knife, you will just be jamming a blade into there for quite a bit. It's possible, but it's absolutely agonizing. You can even use the woodworking method of making several cuts into here that are kind of in line, and then breaking those tiny little pieces off. I might even end up doing a little bit of that too. as I go through, because I have no idea how easy it's going to be to get this section cut out. But I'm going to fire up the clock and assume that this is what you would have to go through if you had a pumpkin that was giving you the same issues. 3 hours in. Let's see how much time this takes to fix. All right, I've broken the saw immediately. Okay. Yeah, this is not working out how I hoped. Wow, that's also really on there. Yeah. Well, the nice thing is I've done it on camera, so people know I'm not lying to them. Suffice to say, I'm not pulling a 5-minute crafts. Look, just do this and do that, and it works perfectly. You know, this already had the right type of saw on it. I just wasted time doing that for no particular reason. Oh. I love being me. These saws are much better than the Dremel, in my opinion. Probably use a jigsaw on this without too much trouble either. I bet that saw break gets plenty of comments when this is released. All right, apart from the instant saw break, that wasn't too bad. He is looking better, but he's still looking down. So I'm going to have to go for another circuit and probably cut it all the way back to that line I didn't really want to come back to.
Yeah, really. Honestly, though, this is easier than the Dremel. That would be taking forever. And this paper clay is still a tad wet on the inside, which is making this really not that difficult. If it had been completely wet on the inside, or completely dry on the inside, this might be a little bit more strenuous. Almost broke myself another saw there. Let's have a look. There we go. Not bad. I think I will try to just get this ridge a little bit more. I don't know. Normally the saber cut bits are tolerably good at removing sections without too much nastiness like that. Where's my X-Acto? X-Acto is probably on the table behind me. Somewhere annoyingly out of sight. Because we were using it. My mom was here. Oh well, I'll just use a pocket knife. Cool. All right, let's go back to the camera. Okay, so I've got them where I want them now. I went around the far cut. It may seem like it's losing a lot of the pumpkin, but really it's not a big factor because this still will look extremely pumpkin-like. He seems to be rising up on the front, so when we're all set for the stem, I'm going to take a little bit of clay and just try to fill in this section right here and gap it a bit. Fortunately, it's so far down on the pumpkin that I don't really have to worry too much about anybody looking down there to see any faults. Everything that's pumpkin surface is already going to be done so. The other thing I'm going to do now, because it's a lot of fun, is I'm going to just cut out these eyes. And because I can't find my X-Acto, which should be on the table right here, but, you know, obviously isn't, we'll pocket knife this sucker. We'll just give our face a nice little cutout. When cutting out the paper, I do like to try to angle the blade in, so I will take as much of the paper from the internal edge as possible. If you go straight back and through, you may leave a little bit of a border. So if you can angle your cut down along the edge that you're cutting, you should have some better results. And again, X-Acto knife, pocket knife, something sharp, doesn't really matter. And again, the idea of this whole series is to be as much stuff that you don't have to worry about acquiring as possible. So very few special tools. You'll notice some of the bits have not popped out completely. You can either reach in and grab them and give them a tear out, or you can just wait until you pull out the larger section around the mouth. Do not be alarmed if paper peels away from the inside from the pumpkin as you remove stuff. That's bound to happen. The paper is fairly well bound, and it's likely to happen. You can also use a pumpkin saw to do this, but what will tend to happen, as unlike a knife, they'll usually leave a lot of ragged edges from the saw cut, and that can be, usually it's not a problem at all, quite frankly. So if you've got it, go ahead, but be aware it is a trifle easier to do with just a sharp knife. All right, and I should be back to fast motion on the tutorial. So yes, I absolutely agree with you there, Johnny. That's when we'll find it, when we step on it. We also did not get great adhesion of the paper to the teeth, but we seldom do, and that's one of the reasons I like making really, really thick shells. I don't have to rely on that adhesion level. Hey, Christine, how we doing? Not here in the craft room, I don't. Yep, we're just recording for my first pumpkin tutorial, which I suspect I'm going to have to do a lot of voiceovers for, and maybe a few scene/plot point reshoots. Yep. We're all over it today at the right time. Okay. Gotta go back to the film for a moment. Here we go. right, that's mostly cut out. I'm going to do a little bit more fine work, but there is a point I'd like to bring up. This tooth right here has got a tiny little paper point sticking up behind it. Those can be a little bit of a pain to get out. You can either take a pair of scissors, go in and give them a snip, but maybe you don't have really small scissors. So this method will work. Go in there, give it a cut off. But if you don't have tiny, tiny scissors, you can reach in from behind, pull that paper point down and back away from the tooth. Since it's made of paper clay now, it should be pretty sturdy. But maybe you pull it back about 1.5 inches, or I should say a 1/2 inch, not 1.5 inches, and then just tear it loose from the inside. And now we have no tiny paper point showing up anymore, and it doesn't have to be an issue. Sometimes your teeth will match perfectly to your paper inside. Sometimes it won't. You can do a little extra retooling to get that done, or you can take a tiny little bit of paper clay and just kind of mask over the edge and blend in any paper that's on there that you don't like the look of. Both are equally good options. There's no real smoothing that needs to be done for this step. You're just masking any protruding paper with just a tiny little daub of paper clay. So right here I had a bit of a paper jump up, and just to demonstrate that method, I threw that on there. I don't think that too much of the rest of this is going to be problematic, because when we start to paint it, the paper will get painted too. And unless somebody is really looking at your pumpkin with a microscope, they won't notice or care on Halloween night. So don't try to over perfect. Just again, do a little tear off and you should be in great shape. I'm going to find a little bit of cleanup on a few spots here and then get right back to you. Depends on the size of the beach ball. If you've got a small one like this, I only recommend it about 4 layers on it. But if you've got like a giant 3-foot monster, then you really should go for the full 6 layers or more. So the smaller the beach ball, the less you have to worry about it. The bigger the beach ball, the more you're going to want sturdy paper reinforcing. Okay. I'll have to fix that snapped saw blade later on. And I'm back to the recording in a few moments. Hello, Sammy. How are you doing, Fuzzy Bear? All right, knee is all set and done. Teeth are all in good shape. I just thunked into one of the areas I covered with clay because I'm super smart like that. And now it is time to get the stem done. The one thing I'm going to do quickly before worrying about the stem is have a tiny little look around for any areas I don't quite like that I don't think are going to mesh well once he gets painted. I'm looking for really problematic gaps. Sometimes the deeper fissures here can start to crack open. There is a crack right here, but it seems to blend well into the pre-existing seam, so I'm not worried about that one. But if anything's really splitting wide, I want to try to find it now. And about the worst thing that I'm seeing right now is just in the hollow of this tooth here, there's a tiny little divot. I don't like it. It's definitely far from the worst thing I've ever seen and done in a pumpkin before. But I'm just going to shove a little splatter of paper clay up in there, press it down, and now that'll be the new surface, and it's sealed. So that's super stupid tiny and barely even a nitpick. But again, if you get deep cracking in some of these fissures that you don't like, just take a tiny little piece of paper clay, put it in there, and rub it down, and you're fine. If you've got a divot in there you don't like, you can also seal that up with just a bit of paper clay. This is the time to do any last little surface nitpicks. And right here, there's a blending spot between the old and the new stuff that didn't get quite filled in. Truth be told, I could care less about it because no one will notice it with paint. But for the sake of maybe I found something I really don't like, I'm just going to put some paper clay on that, smooth it down with my finger, and by the time this is all set and dried, that will be completely invisible. And now it's time to move on to the stem. Pumpkin stems, I don't want to say are an order of huge contention because they're not, but there's a lot of variety that you can get with them. You can go for something very, very complicated, like this stem, which is a lot of little tiny twists and turns. But really, a pumpkin stem, in actuality, and here I have one saved, is a really, really simple mechanism. It doesn't go for huge, crazy twists and turns, though you can put them in there if you want. But I'm just going to do this for a simple first pumpkin. One of your easiest options is to save pumpkin stems and then just glue them onto these and spray them over with some shellac or hardener so they don't rot out completely. But we're going to assume that we're going to build one. The easiest thing to build one that gives you both a little bit of flexibility and a little bit of variability for the core is aluminum foil. And what I like to do is just grab a chunk, and maybe give it a fold or so I don't have to deal with as much material. Decide how big I want the stem. I mean, that should be pretty good sized. And then I'm just going to twist this thing up and compact it pretty well into a foil stalk. If you have the equipment, one of the best things to do is to grab a Dremel or drill or something and give yourself a tiny little hole right here at the top where you're going to put your stem. I'm going to assume that you're in a spot with no power tools, no equipment, nothing. So I'm going to quickly go off script here and try to put a tiny little hole in there with just this little pocket knife multi-tool. If you can't put a hole in it at all, it's not the end of the world either. I'm just giving this a little stab and twist. You could probably do this with a halfway decent kitchen knife. I'm already pretty much burrowed right in there. How big you want this hole to be kind of depends on how creative you want to get with your stem. For your first pumpkin, I don't recommend anything more than just a standing up stem. That's all you need. Save the crazy fancy stuff for your second or third pumpkin if you decide you want to make any more. But I've just got a little hole there. No problem. I'm not quite all the way through, so I'll finish that up. The hole for this pumpkin is about 3/4 of an inch slash about 15 millimeters. So there we go. And you're going to take your stem bit and stuff it in the hole. If it doesn't fit, maybe you made your stem too small or your hole too big and they don't lock well, just grab some more foil. Give yourself a little bit extra and rewrap the base and build it up until you have enough so that it fits into the stem hole. Mine, fortunately, is in pretty good shape, but if yours isn't, that's what you can do to build it up. You can also build up your whole stem. Incidentally, measurement-wise, this stem is maybe 1/2 inch wide slash 1.12 millimeters. And all I'm going to be using the aluminum foil for is just a core support. If you have a hot glue gun, I do recommend hot gluing this into place. So just dump a little hot glue in there and then plonk your stem in. If you've got a hot glue gun, then find where that stem is on the other side, angle your pumpkin up, and drip some hot glue down onto it. I, however, am going to pretend I don't have a hot glue gun. I am just Joe Everybody who has minimal crafting supplies, and I can't afford that fancy garbage. So I'm just going to give my stem a little bit of a placement. Grab some paper clay. The first things I'm going to do is find out where it is on the bottom. And I'm going to just put a wad of paper clay onto and around that spot. Not so much to hold the stem in place, or not so much to cover it for any particular reason, but more to hold the stem in place. And make sure it doesn't wiggle. My stem is maybe poked through about 3/4 of an inch slash 15, 16 millimeters on the bottom of this thing. I'm just going to coat on and around it. And hopefully that's got enough light to see down and in. If not, I'll try to superimpose a picture later on. But that stem is covered and it's stabilized, so it really can't wiggle. Next step is going to be to just coat this aluminum foil in a thin layer of paper clay. We're going to take it all the way down to the base. I have like maybe a 2 millimeter slash 1/16 slash 1/8 of an inch coating. And around the bottom, I'm going to try to make sure that it interfaces with the paper clay that's already there. Just give it a little press down all around. Since I'm doing this with no hot glue, I want to make sure it all becomes one solid structure. I'm not trying to texture anything yet. I just want this locked. So all around the base, I'm just a tad thicker. And otherwise, we're just going to give this a coat. Not really doing any special smoothing at all either. I am just trying to pat it down with my fingers so that it's fairly flat. Another warning against large stems, especially on your first pumpkin, is the further you get away from the root, obviously, the more wobbly your stem is going to get. You can make a thicker piece of aluminum if you want to get more creative with it and not feel that it's quite so wobbly. But I'm going for first time, minimal materials needed tactics. I'm also doing my stem fairly straight up for the most part, because the more they curl down, the harder it is to do any kind of sculpting of a stem underneath them, and the harder it is to paint underneath them. So a small stem, mostly straight up, is ideal for your first time. And that stem's completely covered, and because I've been finger pushing it down, it's pretty smooth. And now I'm just going to make sure that the stem is blending into any existing grooves by giving them just a tiny little finger down push. And then you've got a choice to make. You can start doing a little bit of the stem sculpting now, in which case you're probably going to want to have some smoothing paste ready and handy at hand. But with the degree of wobble on this thing, I'm just going to let this one sit overnight and have it be a-okay. So next time I work on it, this stem is going to be just as hard as this internal pumpkin material. I am, however, during this juncture, going to add some clay to the bottom front here, where this guy is, you know, could use a little bit more fill in. And when I set him to dry tonight, I'm going to have to set him to dry in this kind of position. But here's my open spot that I just don't quite like. And so I'm just going to add some clay to it. The only smoothing required is just a tiny little bit of finger-based stuff. No need to go mad on full smoothing, just because this is going to be so low on the pumpkin, no one will see. Same thing if you want to bolster it from the back. You're just going to be adding this here to make it look further down. But I'm adding to the front because I want to make sure my guy is looking quite up. There's my little front addition to cover it up. Too low for most folks to see. I'm just going to set it on the ground real quick. And this will establish any flat spots that it's got to have without me having to worry about it. I am going to take equivalent of pencil or pen, just the back nub of this thing here. I'm just going to press down my groove a tiny little bit. So it's not immediately apparent that there's any kind of stop to those. Boom. And like I said, on Halloween night, nobody should really see that. All right, I'm going to set this guy up to dry. Because again, although I could start shaping the stem a little bit more, I don't want to take any kind of chances. It's not worth it. I'd rather come back to it when it's as rigid as the outer form. And with that, we'll fast forward another day for drying and get back to it next time. All right. All right, recording is stopped. Yay! It's gonna be good, I think. Just gonna kind of push the stuff on the back a tiny bit, make it blend with the clay. Not a problem really either way. Oh. All right, now we can get some extra ancillary crafting done. Because all of the video stuff is set. My little holders are all over there. I guess I'll just have to get my rotund keister up and put them over there too. Oh, good. And that's all set. I'll probably need this big boy. Because we got a lot of clay tonight. Ugh. Oof. Ugh. I've never had anybody ask me to make one specifically. I have had a lot of people ask if I sell them. Tons of people have asked that. And the answer has been a pretty much unilateral, no, I don't. But with the way these tiny little 12 inchers have been going, at some point I might make a few and throw them up on well, my problem is, like, I'll just throw them up on Etsy. I'll throw them up on eBay. If I think, like, Etsy, I'm going to be paying Etsy to sell my stuff. I might eBay a few. I think Etsy probably charges more. Yeah. No, believe me, the more you pumpkin and the more you show off that you know how to pumpkin, the more people will be asking for your stuff. So that is to be expected, especially with your dioramas, Dave. They're really, really, really cool looking. Just don't sell yourself short, too. It's one of the other things that tends to happen is, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And you're buried in requests, but, you know, people aren't exactly willing to compensate you for your time, which is fine, friends and family and all that, but just make sure you don't get roped into doing every pumpkin for the school's production of Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. How badly do I want to cheat? Not really that badly at all, quite frankly. Throw a little reinforcement on here, some more. Another few millimeters on the side. Yeah. Craft show is a very good idea. It's down to how much you want to put into the effort of creation. I know for me, in terms of selling, all I'm thinking of doing is making a couple and then throwing them up on, you know, maybe eBay or doing a Facebook-y video auction type thing. Not so much video auction, but video purchasing. Suffice to say, I don't want to be giving money to Etsy, and I don't want to be giving money to eBay. eBay is usually pretty reasonable. I'm sure Etsy's probably pretty reasonable too, but, you know, I made the stuff, not them. All right, we're going to finish this guy's stem. I'm going to need some smoothing paste for that. I have that right here. Oh, cool. I don't know how you could sell that one, man. That one was really good. I'd be keeping them all and showing them off at my Halloween display. All right, I guess I'm not going to use the hot glue gun tonight. And by unplugging it, I will ensure that I have to use the hot glue gun tonight. Because that's the way Murphy works. Pardon. Got some cracks in this guy's stem. Just fill those up. And it's always at the bottom of those channels, which is not unanticipated. Yep, pretty much. They're the wonderful little holiday addiction that just keeps on giving non-stop. And I wouldn't have it any other way. If I didn't have crafting, I'd blink, blink, a little tired. If I didn't have crafting, I would probably spend way too much time just sitting around watching random YouTube-y crap. And video games and junk. Yeah. Precisely. I like having my little facet of the world that... The thing is that the temptation is to finish that sentence with something that not everybody else can do, but that's not the truth at all. And it's entirely one of those, I enjoy having something that so many folks are somehow unwilling to do. It's always see these little guys and, oh, do you sell them? No. Oh, then I'll never have one. You can make them yourself. They're ridiculously easy. I don't have the time. So busy. You can work on them for like half an hour a day. Of course, I shouldn't be bringing up that little argument because, you know, for me, like, my house could be a lot cleaner and be like, you could just clean for like half an hour a day and cleaning wouldn't seem anywhere near as bad. It's a terrible argument and example use. Oh, well. I used it. I'm a bad person. I think what gets me, though, is it's so logical, too. You know, you could have one less cigarette a day for, you know, this week. And then it would be easier to stop. Or you could do this one little bit, you know. Yes, absolutely. I totally could. Totally get it. But screw you. You ask too much. I could eat a few less calories every day. And before you know it, I'd be a lot healthier. But no! Only a madman would ask that. Yeah, the classic arguments. Samhain the Fuzzball, what are you doing over there behind me, bud? Hi. You feel like being a movie star today, little bear? Let's see if he'll come up. He's probably getting a little hungry.
Yeah. Come here. Whoop. I got you.
Whoop. Careful your foot. There you go. Hey, buddy. What's up? Oh. Pet the cat, pet the cat. Yes, 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 yes. Pet the cat, pet the cat. Hi. Oh, hi, how are you? Oh. Oh, let's do an enforced hug. You must hug. I have you here. There, see, there it is. I spilled it. Spilled it though so my cat could get down. Hi. It was a noble spill. There was no selfishness in it. Mm. Mm. Make sure we keep the rules here. No silicone head tools, only stuff that you can find in the house. All right, we'll do one tiny little bit at the bottom here. Or she wouldn't tell him. See, she should have told him. Should have let him know that she's got a cool family member who makes stuff. Maybe she just enjoyed getting one over on the UPS guy. It seems kind of cruel and weird to me, but people are strange, I guess. If I get nifty stuff that I think other people might like, I always tell them where they got it. And doubly so actually with artist stuff. Like I like crediting the musicians that I have on the channel. Which is Sam Hain, Dance with the Dead, and Shadow Symphony 9 times out of 10. Yeah, people who make cool stuff should get the accolades they have earned. Man, I can smell that degreaser from here. Yeah. 1000%. Like I said, people are weird. I used some Simply Green cleaner on this brush, and it's lingering. I can smell it. There we go. Honestly, this one just sucks. So I'm just going to smooth it. Smooth it right out. Nobody will ever notice it. Yes. I mean, they take time, but so be it. It's a time expense, and I'm more than willing to pay. A Beetlejuice diorama would be pretty cool. I bet if you ever tried to sell it, it would go like an instant on a flash with the advent of the new movie coming out. It should be fine. Fine. Some cracks. Never see those cracks. And it sits pretty flat. Might see that crack. Yep. All the Beetlejuice fans will be squeeing over it. Who's that back there? Is that Sam? Is that Madge? Which furball is that? I bet it's Sam, since he's been malingering around here for quite a while.
Hey, yes. Here, buddy. Oh, it's Madge. Majesty, hi. Good girl. Oh. Ooh, sweetheart. Yeah. Meow. You're a sweetheart. Yes, you are. Wow.
Then let's see here. Tomorrow we got details on the stem. And then it's the triple pumpkin reveal. And then we do painting on this guy. Moderate work on the middle guy. And then a full facey, kissy on the third. Good girl.
Yes, you're a sweetheart. Yeah, good girl.
Nice. great to get good artsy ideas.
Hi, yes. Do we have an objection to me no longer scratching your butt? Wow. Oh, Matt, you're so cute. You keep coming back for more pets. Oh. You're not going to let me get any work done, are ya? You little sweetheart. Watch your butt. Oh my God. Oh.
And crawling away, she squeezed herself through the round in the crown. It's just cute to watch. Yes. 1000% kitty break. Okay. I think I'll cover the aluminum I have in the inside of this one. Just because I said to do it in the said to do it in the video. I better follow my own instructions. Oh. Well, clay certainly has gotten a lot easier to make with this method, I gotta say. Only downside is I seem to be using it up as fast as I can make it.
Hi, Sam. Oh, boy.
Let's cover your section too. This guy is going to have walls that are too thin around the teeth, because the inside I've reinforced. Okay. Big thing these guys need is a nice long time in an extremely dehumidified environment. So you can either go out and find one or give it some time and they'll be in all the shops. One method or the other will work. Depends on how psyched you are to do it right away or to give it time. Oh, where's my spatula? Spatula is too encrusted with crusties. Let's get these off for a smooth spread. There we go. That'll help too. Yeah, I mean, at the very least, you can you may be able to make 2 pumpkins at once for it, and then have the pumpkin part ready for your Beetlejuice one when the figures come out that you want to use. Yeah, this one's a little bit bigger than my standard. This is the one. This one's just a straight beach ball. The one with the food coloring experiment is the one we tried to see if we could make it a little bit more stand-up-y. Yeah. It's just a big old boy. That's all. Gonna give him his shell since I have plenty of paste left over, or plenty of clay left over, I should say. Not really using the paste so much anymore, except for smoothing. Which feels a little odd, I must say, but if it works, it works. Doing this guy's full surfaces, though, is going to be a pain in the butt. I already did the back part of them, and it took a little while. What you want is a glass cabochon, which, by a number of strange circumstances, I have some here. I should be careful because my hands are kind of gross. So this is 2 back-to-back. Oh, there we go. This is 2 back-to-back glass cabochons, and they're just little oculars. You can throw those in the center of eyes, surround them with clay, or make some mounts for them first, and that works out pretty well. Though I bought those cabochons for the hovering skelly Witchwood ghost that I'll be working with probably in a few minutes. So I gotta take another look at that guy. I witchwooded him, but I don't think I witchwooded him well. Yep, I can't remember who I saw doing it, but they had glass eyes in a bunch of their pumpkins. And actually, I did experiment with that. The crazy eye guy next to me has got glass eyes. Give me a little bit to finish this up, and I may be able to drag him over. I don't think I have a puck light on me, but we can throw the old UV flashlight in there. Yeah. His eyes are considerably smaller, though. They're not so much cabochons as tiny, just little glass bead droplets. Cabochons are significantly larger, or at least the ones I have are significantly larger. He was an experiment. I want to say, where did the day go? But I know exactly where the day went. I was there the whole time. Watching the Kung Fu movie Iron Monkey. And that was a hell of a fun film, I gotta say. Just a really fun little romp. Sometimes you definitely do get the where did the time go crafting moments. Though I am so much happier and more relaxed now than I was earlier. Stupid technical troubles were really driving me up a wall. But now that they're over, I am sedate. Sedate, serene, and cerebral. Yep, I knew some of that would tear up. Yeah, well, yeah, and with that one, the problem was that the tech was things that shouldn't have been breaking that were breaking. And my absolute, utter done with it of the chat not responding correctly. I am just beyond tired of that. Seems like every time how bad did I hit it? Not bad at all. Every time I just want to sit down and craft. Whoop, this doesn't work. Whoop, that didn't work. Well, I always think of my hero when that happens. There is a video of, there's actually a couple of videos about guys in offices who something happens with their computer and they just lose it and kick the crap out of the machine. And I love that. Those men are heroes. That is what a hero looks like. And then there's the film Office Space when they get their revenge on their printer. Sometimes what you need is a great catharsis. Hey, as long as they're not looking violently at you, well, it's really all that you need to worry about. There we go. I'm a little curious how I'm going to do the eyes on this guy. So I think he's another one who's a good candidate for the cabochons. We'll see how we feel.
Hi, Madge.
Meow. Good girl. Yeah, this guy, I modeled in pupils to his design. I hadn't planned on using cabochons, but I might. I agree, and he's got big eye pupils anyways, so can always give it a shot. Just gotta remember not to worry too much because this is just his shell layer. I technically don't even have to smooth it if I don't want to. I guess it just feels better if it is smoothed over. I feel like I did my job a bit more. I don't know. We'll find out. None of my guys at the moment have glass eyes. So, never completely tried it. Kind of looking forward to it though. Give it a little go over.
guy's going to need a lot of ancillary sculpting, though. His face is not hugely interesting. A little bit more down this way. Yep, always do experimental pumpkins first. And then if the idea is good, and we'll see about doing it up the rest of the way. Of course, you know, if your experimental pumpkin is a full-size pumpkin, it's not really an experimental pumpkin. It's just that project. So experimental kind of implies that you had a greater concept to begin with. Because by that logic, everything's an experiment. And while that's not bad logic, it's one of those, if everything's an experiment, then nothing is. I don't want to do a lot of smoothing here. Just enough to get some of the finger bumplies out. There we go. Good. And enough to give that an interlayer smooth out. Yeah. Cool. All right, I guess we're going to work on the multicolor one because I still have a fair amount of clay left. Put him in a drying space first and use the restroom. Ooh, you have a good wife then. I'll be back in just a sec. There we go. All right, we should probably texture this whole section on this guy. Or at least we'll texture as much as we can with the clay we have left. Oh. These big boys do tend to like to eat clay. I think I need to lift up that monitor. Maybe make a wall mount for it. And like I said, due to the size of this guy, he tends to eat clay. That other big one is going to do the same thing. Okay. Whoa. Pumpkin carrot. Easy there. Come on. Precious silicone tool. Put that clay on a little thicker than I intended to here. Where's my other brush up, brush up, brush up? All the times to not have my other happy brush. That's the good one. The other one should be right over here. Oh. I love having my mom over for crafting, but the stuff that I thought was in spots is now not in the spots where I thought it was. That's probably not her fault at all. Just don't. Just don't. Okay. Dude, where the hell did it go? I just washed it. Well, I found the X-Acto. Fortunately, I didn't also find the brush I was looking for. Oh, come on. Only a couple brushes. I use all the heckin' time. I generally keep right here. Let's see if I have something comparable. Not bad. One brush? Yeah. Pardon. Generally, they stay out of my stuff. I mean, probably got knocked on the ground, pushed behind something. It always happens. Plus, today is an accident-prone day, which I know from the start.
because of the goobering with the streaming software. So once that starts, means your day is accident prone. And no matter what, you're probably going to run into some stupid things will be not where you're looking for them. I have had days before where I've gone back to bed and done very little just because you knew the moment you woke up. You got up, you wang your shin on a corner, you move to do something else, you stumble, you drop something that you never dropped before. You're like, oh, okay, it's one of those days. Bye, going back to bed. I know what you're doing, universe. I'm not going to play your game. And meanwhile, I am soldiering on despite the universe's warnings. It's having none of my shenanigans today. Everybody gets those days. You know they're cursed. The best thing to do is go right back to bed. Fast forward the day. All right. There's all the major grooves. And there's the minor grooves. Oh, that's another fairly large section of this one done. Let's go put it in the drying space. I should say a drying space. Do I have another bucket? Of sufficient stature. I thought I had one over there. If I don't, this should work. All right, back in a second. I'll throw this one in the drying space. There, if nothing else happens, universe, 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 it should be fine. Might as well put these other guys over there too. Okay. Hello, something. No collapse was terribly calamitous. Oh. Rawr. This brush will need cleaning. These two are fine. I see your comment. I'll be right with you. It still sounds like fun, though. I sometimes worry about if my cats go for a wire. I really have to watch, because I'll usually play with them with it for a few moments, but I really got to be careful because I don't want that wire whipping into them and hurting them. This one needs clean. David, perhaps you can test a sound effect setup I made. Let me know if you get a line from Trick or Treat here. Oh my God, I left the clock on this whole time. Shoot. I will have to review that footage, find out where we cut off. I'll put the clock over here to remind me to do that. Let me know if and when you can, if you got a movie line sound effect coming through or not. Would have been a few moments ago. In fact, I can cue the other one just for find outsies. Nothing as of yet. All right. We'll try
all these
releasing
traditions.
that, and we'll see if it comes through.
Jack-o'-lanterns, putting on costumes, handing out treats. They were started to protect us, but nowadays, no one really cares.
I am so making the switch to OBS. Sammy Bear! Meow. Come here and get some cuddles. Still nothing? Now it's coming through. Good. Maybe it's on my restream a moment or two
one
off.
night that the dead and all sorts of other things roam free.
And we got another one. Good. Maybe it's on the release. All right. I'm going to try to trigger the first one directly. Here we go. Hopefully that one should have punched right off, or will in about 30 seconds.
All these traditions, jack-o'-lanterns, putting on costumes, handing out treats, they were started to protect us, but nowadays, no one really cares.
Well, Sam's got the zoomies. Did the first one come through again? Or no? Got it. Okay, cool. Excellent. All right, I have a lot of paste left there. That's going to be going bad soon. So, oh yeah. Now that I got a second. So here is my guy who has glass eyes. They are mounted to the outside of his stuff there. You can blast some light back at him and see if it shows. So I don't know if you're catching a whole lot of glass. I am not, but this is not the brightest light. I can tell that they're there. Yeah. Give me a sec. I might have a puck light. I just hauled out a small box of puck lights. It's not that box. Got a small pumpkin light here. But I know there's a better one on the desk. Those are all greenies. Oh, man. All right, I have no idea where the hell that thing went. There was a small box that should have had a couple puck lights in it. And now I don't see it flipping anywhere. This one is RGB fairy lights. Oh, that's the one for the crown. That's actually something else we could do. So, no, not finding a better light unless I have that other small pumpkin light over here where I saw it last, which means it won't be here. No, it is here. I'm damned. I'll be damned. Whew. I really can't see the glass eyes on the camera from that angle. I'll angle the head up in a second. Yeah, probably not really from there either. But there are glass eyes in that. They are a tiny little bit faded because I stuck them on with super glue, which has a tendency to haze. But they're inside the pupils. Ugh. But like I said, they're more small clear glass drops than they are. Yeah. They're more glass drops than they are big cabochon lenses. Honestly, I don't want to do that because glass is notoriously not amenable to many glues. I have a feeling they would just fall off. Even the person that I know uses them similarly, they don't even do it that way. They mount them inside of a thing. A doodad, a dibbledy-dop. Okay, blah, blah, blah. How do the batteries, like that. All right, and I'll switch the other way around. That's annoying. So this kind of has to stick like that to the back. The glass eyes for that one. This one also needs some clamping. Those are, I made the two eye mounts first, and then we decided to try glass on them. So after the eyeball with the green-brown alternate zaps were in, and there's a hole behind it, then we took some, I put the glass nugget in the center of that and super glued around the edges to get a starting lock, and then it pretty much held. I think I added a little bit of E6000 after I got the tack welds in place, as it were. And that's how they're locked in. All right, this strip is too long for the crown. But I bought it ages ago for this purpose, so we're gonna give it a shot. Looks like I'm gonna need the hot glue tonight after all. Well, let's do a quick lighting check. Yeah, we probably ought to go thusly. Hello, Majesty. Actually, what I really ought to do is just grab some masking tape.
Hi, fuzzy cat. Meow. Meow. Madge, can you grab me some masking tape? Be a sweetie. Meow. Meow.
No, she says she's not going to grab me the masking tape.
Come on, kitty.
Masking tape. Had one on here with so little masking tape, I didn't know if I'd run out partway through the test. Just a possible alt configuration here. No, that's pretty much all the way around the back. Okay. Let's do a lighting tray. You're supposed to stay. Stay stuck. All right, assuming I fell asleep right now. Yeah, it's not bad. The downside is that the intent is for Witchwood to be all over this as well. When I did that the first time, the horns were not very well lit. And that might be kind of a perpetual problem. It looks much better on camera than it does in actuality now. Because for you guys, it's super bright. Just stealing the props. I did see that one thing of the chair that was yoinked from the set. People are such strange animals. This might work if I could put... Tired. Okay. And it's a little too big because it's supposed to fit over a mask. Echo, turn off craft light. Oh, that's hilarious. I look like the king of Christmas. Oh my. Okay, maybe this has more merit to it than I had originally thought. Actually, because the other thing too is we don't have to stay green. I can alter this up. It's far brighter for you guys than it is for me. But maybe this has more merit than I had originally thought. Perhaps significantly more merit. We're definitely doing this because it's hilarious. I really hadn't intended to do a Crown 2.0. I still might not, but this is hilarious. It needs some serious light diffusion. I knew that by unplugging this, I would need it again. Oh.
Hi, Madge. What's up? Well,
She's saying, "What are you still doing up? You could have fed me and gone to bed ages ago." I need a few more glue sticks. Good girl. Yeah. Okay. We're going to make use of this whole strip, which I had not intended to do, but it really does need it. Even though it's not really optimized for it. Really? Oh, the hot glue guns. Yeah, anytime you do anything that's primary job is generating heat. Echo, turn on craft light. It's going to run out of juice relatively rapidly. All right, so I need to be able to swap batteries on this. I also need to be able to access this stupid little on-off switch, which they have rudely put in the back. On the opposite side. That gun's gotta heat up some more. Ooh. I hope I have enough circumference to do what I want to do here. I think I do, but we'll see. We're going to mount in the design very much unlike I had originally intended. The original intent was to have one strip around the center of the crown, and that was all. I might even do a really weird one. Up, out, over, flaps. All right. Yeah, this is gonna be mad, crazy weird. Yeah, it really is. Oh, Echo, play my playlist streaming. Echo, volume 8. Echo, loop.
Loop mode on.
Echo, shuffle.
Turning on shuffle mode.
Good. Need some spooky tunes. If I'm really lucky, the lavalier won't catch him for crap. YouTube won't bill me for them. I went through and grabbed everything I could where there was, what is it? Profit sharing mode. So your video can stay monetized, but you just split some of the profits with the musical artists that you use. There's the cabochons that I pulled out of their case. Good. And not so good. Hopefully we can get more tunes going on with less, oh my god, you're playing music. How dare you play music on YouTube? Yes, you do. And when you make it, you need to post it on every single Halloween forum out there, including mine. Are we gooby now? Or hot? God, I wish Scotch. That would be easier than what I'm actually up to. Much easier. How you doing? Quite frankly, David, for your first tutorial, get yourself a cheapish little 4K/1080p camera, a tripod, and that's about it. Video editing software is kind of up to you. These days I use Cyberlink. Echo, Volume 6. Little camera, little video editing software. Some of the video editing software is also free online too. So, and some of those bits, you can also, do like a 1-month subscription and then do all your editing in there. And if you decide to do it, let me know and I can try to help you out with the video editing. The interfaces can look a little weird if you've never done it before. Why is this? Is it clogged or something? The cameras aren't running anything. The cameras just record. What? Then you take what the cameras record and you splice it all together. Why is this being so stupid? Price-wise, I don't know. I get like a little $100, $150 unit to start out with. You only really need to go nuts if you plan on doing, more of the streamy type stuff. I know it's hot enough. And don't spend too much time obsessing trying to get the perfect camera. If you're starting out and it's your first tutorial, just rock and roll with something moderate. Come on. Come on, glue gun, clear your throat. I know this thing's much more high volume than this. And it's plenty hot enough. Yes. Do all your recording first and then do your editing afterwards. And what you'll find is any area where you need to do more. There we go. Yes. We got throat clear. Like in my first pumpkin video series there, I'm probably going to need to go back and do a couple of voiceover spots for things that I have forgotten / neglected in the midst of it all. Probably go down a bit more. Maybe over a little bit more. I still have some tackiness. Yeah. No, it's really not that bad. I'm going to save the other spots on here for E6000. This is just going to be a starting tack. All right. I want to start by going around. This way. As much as I wanted to go from the top down, I think we're going to have to go from the bottom up. Yeah. And really just don't worry about it. I did my first one sitting in my kitchen. That is your choice. You can do the full how I do the pumpkin bit. You can do the other people have done pumpkin stuff, and this is how I do the diorama bit. Very much entirely up to you. I certainly wouldn't care if you did your own how to do pumpkins things. As far as I'm concerned, the more tutorials out there, the merrier. I mean, you'd probably at least have to go to the stage of the pumpkin. Like, if you didn't want to teach it, you could start at the stage of the pumpkin where you've got like the clay on, because you're going to have to show how to make the cuts to make the diorama. Because other people can probably get to the pumpkin stage, or if you've got, like if you make the cuts or there's areas you leave open, like if you don't do paper clay in the whole open section that you are going to do your diorama in, people would need to know that. So, like if you're at the paper and beach ball stage and that's when you mark off things. Anything that deviates from any other major pumpkin tutorial is where you should have some, you have to have extra detail. Because you've got to assume that whoever is watching it has never done anything like it before and has no idea about anything you're talking about. They just saw your thing, thought it was cool, and thought, I wouldn't mind trying that. Is there a video? You can assume they'll be first time for everything kind of folks. Yep, and the quality of your tutorial, you know, your first shot at it may not be perfect, but whoop-de-frickin' do. And the main thing for camera shots is to make sure that if you're doing something in fine detail, you try to zoom in on it so people can see what you're doing. Never talk when you can show. At least with film. Yeah, because you're going to have a whole bunch of folks who are watching you and just assume that they're going to be confused about everything. They may not actually be, but assume that they're going to be confused about everything. Yes. Yep. And that's why, again, you got the never talk when you can show. And never glue when you can tape. Ah! And make sure you have fun with it too, because if it's if it's a chore, then it's a chore. Oh. I'm going to have a little bit more light than I thought I would have. Most cameras will come with a plug-in cord. The only ones that are problematic to that line, as I found out, GoPros, but I definitely do not recommend you get a GoPro. I was caught blissfully unaware at just how much they are more oriented towards movement, action, and bumpity shakety stuff. They can be used as stationary tripod mounted things, but that's not where they excel. And so you shouldn't waste your money on something that's not what you 100% need. Yep. I just pop on Amazon and look for something that's got, a tolerable star rating and a bunch of reviews. And then after that, I'd probably go to YouTube and look at some unboxy, chatty type videos for it and take everything I heard with a grain of salt. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you want, tell me what your budget is, and then I'll go hunting. I can give you a recommendation. But definitely don't go hyper expensive. Hell do we do here? Meow. Oh, actually, what we do here is we make sure we don't need this tape anymore. Pardon. Okay. I'll have a goosey across the interwebs. We'll do the best we can. Oh, I was afraid of that. And that too. Ooh. Now I do all this stupidity of gluing this thing on here, and then we'll see if we actually like how it fits. Let's get this tacked down. Good solid piece of tape here. I did not anticipate working on this one tonight. I truly did not.
Fuzzy cat. Fuzzy cat. Rawr. Hey, buddy.
Ow. What do you mean, meow? Echo, what time is it? Oh, Jesus. That's why he's meowing. I know. You're a hungry little bear. I know. Oh, you coming up? Come on. Nope. He thought about it. Oh, man. What a world it would be if I didn't have hot glue. Mind you, I'm still kind of goobering this up, but still. Whew. While I'm waiting for that to cool, I will also shoot myself an email reminder to go camera hunting for you. Because my memory is kind of... Meow. I know, buddy. Yeet. Knew it. Knew it. Someone commented an explosion repair. Compose. From me to me. Subject. Look up. 100 to 150. 4K slash or 1080 P cam or Word. Diorama tutorial. Good. Sent. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those pumpkins being dry. Sometime tomorrow. Okay. Curing slash cooling. Curing slash cooling locked down. This needs to be locked down. That really doesn't need to be hugely locked down because this already is. Line across the front. Let's lock this here. And here. Talk about using for the unintended purpose. I know. Give me a few, Sam. I know. You are a hungry bear. I am well aware. I would love to go. I think we can. Let's go right under there. Screwdriver.
All right. Can't pull this trick on the other side. Yep. Wish we could, but we can't. Start sliding. Get in there. Yeah, that was pretty dumb. Reminds me of the student who slammed his hand down into hot glue to show how crazy he was. And then he got a second-degree burn and regretted it. Whew. Sounds good, man. I don't blame you. It's late. I'm tired, too. Yeah. Well, he thought it was nuts. It was just silly. Ah, well. But otherwise, have a fantastic night. Thanks for hanging out. And we will catch you next time we catch you. I'll hopefully be able to shoot you a message via the Facebook site on a good item for you. That's a first-degree burn for me. Hot glue gun is hot. Mm-hmm.
I know, buddy. I know. Food time, right?
There's no way I'm holding that down with my bare fingers. Let's protect this wire. Hello, Majesty. Good girl. Yeah, that really popped up the weight of the crown. Let that cool for a second or three. Wow. That's really on there. There we go. Ah. It's really on there because it's full of pumpkin gunk. Extra blades are right here. That is a brilliant little design for a collet. Oh, come on. There you go. Did I goober something up here? No. Where's the other one? Yep. That's what I goobered. Hmm. You know you're tired when. Yep. Echo, turn off craft light. Yeah, baby. You're the cooler camera. What do you think I look like? Because the other one seems to be getting washed out. Let's see, one try. I made the ultimate Christmas party doofus crown. This should be dim. Doesn't seem to be dimming it or brightening it. Yeah, I don't think this thing has a... No, it's got a brightness control. I kind of wish that I'd... made all the lights external. On camera, looks beautiful. pretty much standard for what you get for RGBs. It's a little bit more wobbly than I would have liked after that. Yeah. All right. Off. Circuit off. These wires will have to be stowed. And then we'll have to witchwood this thing. And probably we should aluminum back everything. We don't lose too much light out of there, but no, Jesus. Yeah, there's nothing lost by putting a high albedo material in there. Anything else is problems for another day. So I have to wind the clock back. This stuff's gonna be gross tomorrow. This stuff is gross today. So we're gonna dump this. And dump that. This does not act like a cover. Maybe it does. It absolutely does. Great. Okay. Oh. I hope all those brave souls out there who might still be watching have gone to bed, as I am about to do. All right. Press that like that. Can't touch anything that will overheat. This brush and this brush have to be cleaned. All right, with that, we are out. Whew, anybody who's still watching, thank you for hanging out. I definitely appreciate it. If anybody is far more wisely no longer watching, then still thanks for hanging out. And to anybody who watches this later, I appreciate it. Thanks very much. Take care. Everybody have a fantastic evening, and keep your pumpkins shining bright.